How did one sentence about him being useless turn into me getting served in a bright office lobby while co-workers watched? I thought he was broke and easy to control. Why did the quiet man I mocked end up walking away with the house access, the money locked down, and my story falling apart in public? My name is Morwenna Pierce, but everyone called me Mori because it sounded cute and light. I was 34 then. I worked as an HR coordinator at a logistics company, which meant I told other people how to behave while I judged them in my head. I liked order. I liked being the one who decided what was fair. At home, I told myself I did the same thing. I kept the plans. I kept the calendar. I kept our image. Ethan Caldwell was my husband. He was 36. He was quiet in a way that made me feel loud. At first, I said I liked that. I told people he was steady and safe. Later, I said he was boring and useless. I used that word a lot. It felt sharp and clean, like I could cut the problem out with one sentence. That morning started like most mornings. The townhouse kitchen was cold, even though the heater worked. There were 2 mugs on the counter, but they were not close together. His mug sat near the sink. Mine sat by the coffee machine. It looked like a small thing. I told myself it meant nothing. Still, I noticed it. I always noticed things that could become a story later. Ethan came in with his phone in his hand. He asked if I wanted eggs. I said I was not hungry. He asked if I slept okay. I said I slept fine, and he should stop checking on me like I was a child. He went quiet. He poured coffee into his mug. He did not touch mine. That annoyed me more than it should have. I told him I needed him to step up. He asked what that meant. I said he knew what I meant, and he was acting dumb on purpose. He asked if I wanted to talk after work. I said I did not have time for therapy talks, and he should fix himself. He looked at me for a long second, like he was reading a sign. Then he nodded once, slow. When I grabbed my keys, I saw his phone screen light up again on the counter. I did not mean to look. I looked anyway. There was a calendar reminder. It said, Riverside 10:40 a.m. Under it was a simple line that said, Meeting, personal. Ethan picked up the phone fast and turned it face down. He asked if I was ready to go. I said he was hiding things and it was obvious. He said he was not hiding anything. He said he just wanted a normal morning. I laughed and told him normal mornings were for men who earned them. In the car, I played back my own words. I still think I was right. If a man wanted respect, he had to bring something. I told myself respect followed results, and I had results. I had a job. I had friends. I could run a room. Ethan did not run anything. That was how I framed it. That was how I lived inside my own head. At work, the open-plan office smelled like printer paper and cheap hand soap. My co-workers were already talking in the break room. Cassidy Rowan, my best friend, was there with 2 other women from payroll. Cassidy asked how my house life was going. I rolled my eyes and said Ethan was being dramatic again. She asked what he did this time. I said he acted like paying half the bills was a medal. I said he was useless at the main things that mattered. Cassidy laughed too loud. The other women smiled like they were watching a show. Cassidy asked why I stayed with him. I said loyalty meant something, and he should be grateful I was loyal. I said I could have options if I wanted. Cassidy asked if Ethan ever got jealous. I said he tried, but he was too soft to do it right. They asked if he ever raised his voice. I said no, and I made it sound like that was a flaw. I said he was cold and passive, like a wall. They nodded. I felt seen. Later that day, Ethan texted me. He asked if we could talk tonight without phones. I stared at the message and waited. I wanted him to feel the weight. Then I replied that I had a busy week, and he was adding stress. He wrote that he did not want to fight. He wrote that he wanted to understand. I told him he understood just fine, and he was choosing to fail. At lunch, I met my sister Daphne for 20 minutes near the office cafe. Daphne asked if Ethan was still acting sad. I said he was doing the quiet punishment thing. Daphne said men did that when they had nothing else. She told me I should set higher standards. I told her I already did, and Ethan kept missing them. Daphne asked if Ethan had money problems. I said he always claimed he was budgeting, but it felt like an excuse. When I came home that evening, the kitchen lights were on, but Ethan was not there. The kids were in the living room with a cartoon playing low. Mila looked up and asked where Dad was. I said he was probably taking a walk because he liked being alone. Mila asked if Dad was mad. I said Dad was just tired, and he would be fine if everyone stopped bothering him. Noah ran to hug my leg, and I felt irritated by how tight he held on. Ethan came back a little later. He asked how my day was. I said it was busy and he would not understand. He asked if I could help Mila with homework. I said I was already doing enough. He did not argue. He washed his hands slowly at the sink and dried them with a paper towel instead of the dish towel. That felt like a message, and I hated that I could not decode it. After the kids went to bed, Ethan asked if I remembered what I said at the bar last weekend. I said I did not remember because it was not important. He said I called him useless in front of people. I said he was focusing on one word to avoid the real issue. He asked what the real issue was. I said he did not make me feel wanted, and he did not make me feel safe about the future. He asked what he could do. I said he could start by not acting like a victim. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible stories. He said he felt embarrassed. He said he wanted us to speak with respect. I told him respect was earned, not requested. He asked if I still loved him. I said love was not a prize he could claim just because he existed. I watched his face change, but he did not shout. He stood up and carried his mug to the sink. He did not kiss me goodnight. In the hallway, I noticed the guest room door was not fully closed. The bed looked slightly disturbed, like someone had sat on it and then smoothed it fast. I told myself he was being dramatic to punish me. I went to our bedroom and saw my phone on the dresser. There was a missed call from no caller ID. I frowned at it, then shrugged like it was nothing. As I turned off the light, I heard a small click from downstairs, like a drawer locking. It was quiet, almost polite. Ethan did not come back upstairs. I lay in bed and told myself I was the stable one in this house. I told myself he needed to learn how life worked. Still, my stomach felt tight, like I had stepped onto a floor that was not as solid as I thought. The next Friday, Cassidy said we needed a reset night. She said I looked tired, and Ethan was draining my shine. I said I was fine, but I still went. I told myself I deserved a break. That was always my reason. We met at a rooftop bar downtown. The place had heat lamps, loud music, and people pretending they were happier than they were. Cassidy picked the table near the glass rail so everyone could see us. She said it was better for photos. I said I did not care about photos, but I fixed my hair 3 times anyway. Cassidy asked where Ethan was. I said he did not like crowds. She asked if he was mad again. I said he was always mad in his quiet way, like a sulking kid. Cassidy laughed and told the others I was basically married to a ghost. I smiled like it was funny. Inside, I liked the attention. I liked that people leaned in, like my life was a show. Daphne came too. My sister arrived late and acted like she owned the space. She asked if I was still dealing with Mr. Useless. I said yes and rolled my eyes. Daphne asked if he had finally done something romantic. I said he did dishes and called it effort. People laughed. I felt warm with power. I told myself this was just truth. I told myself I was helping him by being honest. Cassidy asked what I wanted from Ethan. I said I wanted a man who could lead. I said I wanted someone who could protect my future. A woman from payroll asked what Ethan did for work. I said he had a decent job, but he acted like it was a big deal. I said he saved money like an old man. I said he made everything feel small. Cassidy told me to say the line again, the one that made everyone laugh. I said Ethan was useless. and I said it like I was proud of being brave. I watched faces react. I watched the little shock, and then the smiles. It felt like winning. Then I saw Ethan walking toward us. I did not expect him. He was not dressed up, but he looked clean and calm. His eyes moved across the table like he was counting who was there. Cassidy leaned forward and asked why he came. Ethan said he wanted to pick me up because it was late. Cassidy asked if he did not trust me. Ethan said he trusted me, and he also wanted to drive me home safe. Cassidy made a face like he was controlling. Daphne asked if he was trying to embarrass me. Ethan said he was not trying to do anything in public. I felt my chest tighten. I did not want him to look like the good one. I did not want him to look like the adult. So I pushed first. I asked why he was acting like my parent. He asked if we could talk outside for a minute. I said no, because he always tried to pull me away and manage me. He said he did not want to fight. I said he brought the fight by showing up. He looked at Cassidy and asked if she had posted pictures of me before I got home. Cassidy said she posted what she wanted. Ethan nodded like he was filing it away. Daphne asked Ethan if he ever planned to level up. Ethan asked what that meant. Daphne said it meant earning his place. Ethan said he worked, he paid bills, and he took care of the kids. Daphne said that was basic. I said he should not take it personal because it was true. Ethan looked at me and asked if I really thought he was useless. I said he was twisting my words and making himself the victim again. He did not shout. He did not slam anything. He just said he was going to leave, and he hoped I got home safe. Cassidy told him he was being dramatic. Ethan said he was not being dramatic. He said he did not want to sit at a table where he was a joke. I watched him walk away. People nearby kept talking like nothing happened, but our table went quiet for a moment. I felt something close to fear, but I buried it fast. I told everyone he was doing that silent punishment thing again. I said he loved making me look bad. Cassidy said he was trying to control me with guilt. Daphne said men like that were weak. I nodded. I needed their voices to drown out the other thought in my head, the one that said Ethan had been calm and I had been cruel. Cassidy made me pose by the railing. She said I should smile like I was free. She took a video and said she would tag me. I said not to make it messy. She said it was not messy, it was a vibe. She posted anyway. I watched my phone light up with likes. It felt like proof that I was right. When we left, the air was cold and my cheeks burned. Cassidy asked if I wanted to crash at her place. I said no, I had to go home because of the kids. Daphne said I always acted like a martyr. I said I was the only one who held the house together. Daphne asked if Ethan ever thanked me. I said he acted like I should be grateful for the bare minimum. In the rideshare, I checked my phone again. A message popped up from a number I did not have saved. It said, "You looked stressed tonight. You deserve better energy." I stared at it. Cassidy asked who it was. I said it was nothing, probably spam. But my heart did that small jump it did when someone saw me. When I got home, Ethan was in the living room with the lamp on. He asked if I had fun. I said yes. He asked why Cassidy posted me with captions about surviving a dead relationship. I said Cassidy was joking and he should stop stalking my page. He said he was not stalking. He saw it because people sent it to him. I asked who sent it. He said it did not matter. He asked if I could ask Cassidy to take it down. I said no, because that would make it look true. He asked if it was not true. I said he was trying to trap me with words. He said he was trying to understand why I spoke about him like that. I said he should focus on improving, not on my tone. He went quiet and looked at his phone. I saw a thread on his screen named Follow Up. He closed it fast. I told myself he was being weird. I told myself he was probably texting his mom to complain. I walked into the kitchen and saw a sticky note on the counter in his handwriting. It said, "Bring forms." There was no other detail. I felt a small chill. I asked him what forms. He said it was personal and he would handle it. I asked if he was planning something. He said he was planning to be organized. I laughed and said he was finally trying to be useful. Upstairs, I showered and told myself I had won the night. I told myself Ethan could not handle a strong woman. I told myself he needed to learn that I had options. My phone buzzed again. The unknown number sent another message. It said, "If you ever want to talk, I'm around. No pressure." I did not reply. I also did not block it. In bed, Ethan did not touch me. He asked if we could set a time to talk with no insults. I said I was tired and he should not start drama at midnight. He said okay and turned away. I lay there awake, looking at the ceiling. I told myself I was still the good one. I told myself he made me act this way. Still, I could not forget how he walked away from the rooftop table without begging, without anger, without breaking any rules. It felt like he was already leaving, even while he was still in the house. On Monday, I went back to the office, like nothing happened. That was my skill. I could act normal, while I carried a whole second life in my pocket. I told myself it was not even a second life yet. I told myself it was just attention. I told myself attention was a need, like sleep. In the break room, Cassidy asked if Ethan apologized for ruining the vibe. I said he did not apologize because he never understood what he did wrong. Cassidy asked if I felt guilty. I said guilt was for people who had no reason. She laughed and said I was savage. I liked that word. It made me feel strong instead of cruel. At my desk, I opened a spreadsheet. I was supposed to review time-off requests, but I kept staring at my phone. The unknown number messaged again. This time, it had a name under it, Tyler Knox. I realized I must have saved it without thinking, or my phone did it automatically. Tyler wrote that he hoped my weekend ended okay. He wrote that I looked like someone who carried too much. I stared at that line and felt seen in the easiest way. I told him I was fine. He asked if I wanted coffee near my building. I said I had meetings. He said he could do a quick 10 minutes. I said maybe, but I made it sound like he was chasing me. I liked that feeling, like I was the prize. At lunch, I told my manager I needed to run an errand. I said it was personal and quick. She waved me off. People trusted me because I worked in HR, and that irony always made me smile. I met Tyler in a small cafe by the office. He stood when I walked in, like I mattered. He asked how I was doing. I said I was busy and underappreciated. He asked if my husband supported me. I said my husband did not get it. Tyler said I deserved someone who matched my energy. I did not correct him. I let him build the story for me. Tyler asked what Ethan did. I said Ethan worked, but he acted like it was a gift to me. Tyler said that sounded exhausting. I nodded like I was a victim. Tyler asked if Ethan ever made me feel special. I said Ethan made me feel like a roommate. Tyler said that was not a marriage. I agreed fast because agreement felt like relief. When I got back to the office, I felt lighter. I also felt sharp, like I had a secret knife. I walked past my coworkers with a small smile. Cassidy caught my eye and raised her eyebrows. I did not tell her the details, but I said I had a good lunch. Cassidy said she loved that for me. That evening, Ethan texted and asked what time I would be home. I said I had to finish something at work. He asked if I wanted him to pick up dinner. I said yes, because I liked using him for normal things while I kept my real feelings elsewhere. He replied okay and asked what I wanted. I said anything was fine. That was a small punishment. It forced him to guess. I stayed late on purpose. I did not even do much work. I scrolled my phone, cleaned my inbox, and waited. Tyler texted and asked if I was still at work. I said yes. He asked if I wanted a short drive to clear my head. I said I should not. He said he understood, but he also said I looked like someone who never got to breathe. That line worked on me. I walked out to the parking garage with my bag on my shoulder. The concrete air smelled like dust and old rain. My footsteps echoed, and that made everything feel secret. Tyler's car was near the corner, away from the main lights. He did not rush at me. He asked if I was okay. I said I was fine, and I just wanted quiet. We drove for a while with the windows cracked. Tyler asked what I wanted from life. I said I wanted respect. He asked what respect looked like to me. I said it looked like effort without me begging. He said he understood. He said he liked how direct I was. I told him I had to be direct because people tried to use me. I said men like to take the easy version of a woman and then complain when she had needs. Tyler said Ethan sounded like that kind of man. I said Ethan acted like love meant I should accept less. Tyler said that was not love. I noticed Tyler's hand resting on the gear shift. I noticed how he watched my face at red lights, like he was checking if I believed him. I did believe him, or I wanted to. I told myself it was harmless because it made me feel alive. I told myself Ethan had pushed me to this by being weak. When Tyler dropped me back at my car, I looked around before I stepped out. The garage was quiet. Still, I felt watched, which made no sense. My own car sat under a camera dome near the exit. I told myself it was only for security, not for me. I got in and drove home. At the townhouse, the lights were on again, but Ethan's mood felt different. He asked how work went. I said it was stressful and I stayed late. He asked if I wanted tea. I said no. He asked if anything was wrong. I said he always asked too many questions. He said he was trying to connect. I said he should connect by being useful, not by talking. Mila was at the table with crayons. She asked if we could do a family movie night soon. I said maybe this weekend. Ethan said that sounded nice. I rolled my eyes and asked if he planned to fall asleep again like last time. He said he did not fall asleep on purpose. I said excuses were his favorite hobby. Mila looked down and colored harder. I told myself kids were resilient, and this was not a big deal. After bedtime, Ethan asked if I could sit with him for 10 minutes. I said I was tired. He asked if I could at least tell him what he did to make me so angry. I said he was not a leader. He asked what I needed from him. I said I needed him to stop being small. He went quiet again. Then he asked if I had been with someone else. The question landed like a rock in my stomach. I laughed fast and said he was being paranoid. He said he was not accusing me. He said he was asking. I said he was accusing me, and he was trying to make me look guilty for being busy. He said he did not want to fight. I said then he should stop saying crazy things. He nodded once, slow, like he accepted the answer. That made me angry. I wanted him to argue so I could win. I wanted him to chase. Instead, he stood and walked to the hallway closet. I heard a soft beep, like a phone app starting and stopping. I asked what that was. He said it was nothing and he was setting an alarm. I said he was acting suspicious now. He said he was just tired. Later, when I went downstairs for water, I saw his laptop open on the dining table. A spreadsheet was on the screen, but there were no words I could read from where I stood. It looked like columns and dates. Next to it was a folder with a plain label that said Utilities. I told myself he was finally learning how to manage something. I told myself he needed my pressure to grow. In the garage the next morning, I noticed a small light blink inside my car, near the dash. It blinked once and stopped. I froze for a second, then told myself it was normal. Everything was normal if I said it was. On my way to work, Tyler texted. He wrote that he kept thinking about my face when I talked about feeling alone. He wrote that he could make me feel wanted without drama. I read it at a red light and felt my mouth soften into a smile. I did not reply right away. I waited, because waiting gave me power. But I did not delete the message either. I saved it like a little trophy, and I told myself it proved I was not the problem. Ethan was. Ethan always was. That was the story I chose to live in. I thought the family dinner would fix things, or at least make me look right. Ethan's mother, Lydia, had invited us to a restaurant with a long table and too many candles. She said she wanted peace. I heard the word and almost laughed. Peace usually meant I had to act small, and I did not like that. On the drive there, Ethan asked if we could agree to be kind in front of the kids. I said I was always kind and he was the one who made scenes by being sensitive. He said he did not want to scene. I said then he should stop acting like I was the problem. Mila sat behind me and stared out the window. Noah hummed and kicked his shoes against the seat. I told myself they did not notice much. Still, Mila asked if we were going to Smile tonight. I said yes, and I told her adults just had stress. Ethan told her we were going to have dinner and be normal. I heard how careful his voice was, like he was holding something fragile. At the restaurant, Lydia greeted us like a hostess. She hugged the kids first. She told Ethan he looked tired and asked if he was eating enough. I hated that little care. It made him look loved. Grant, Ethan's brother, stood up and shook Ethan's hand like they were co-workers. Grant nodded at me and asked how work was. I said work was fine and at least I knew how to handle people. My parents came too. My mother, Janine, wore a bright scarf and acted like she ran the room. My father, Raymond, smiled in a soft way and asked if everyone could just enjoy food. Daphne arrived last and brought a loud energy, like she could not stand silence. She kissed the kids and told Mila she was growing fast. Mila smiled, then looked at Ethan, like she needed permission to be happy. We sat. The long table felt like a stage. I knew people were watching each other. I could feel the tension under the menus. Lydia asked how the kids liked school. Ethan answered with details. He said Mila was doing well in reading and Noah was learning to write his name. Lydia smiled and said that was wonderful. I waited for Ethan to mention me, to say I did that work too, but he did not. That made my skin itch. Grant asked Ethan how work was going. Ethan said it was steady. Janine asked if steady meant enough, and she made the word sound sharp. Ethan said it was enough for what we needed. Janine asked what we needed. Ethan said we needed calm. I heard the way he said it, like it was not just money. Daphne made a little laugh and asked Ethan if he had learned to be fun yet. Ethan asked what she meant. Daphne said life was short and people had to show effort. I said Ethan loved to talk about effort, but did nothing that counted. Ethan looked at me and asked if we could not do this tonight. I said he was trying to silence me in front of everyone. He said he was not trying to silence me. He was trying to protect the kids from tension. I said the kids would be fine if he stopped acting like a victim. Lydia set her fork down gently and asked if we could lower our voices. I said I was not yelling. Grant said he did not think this dinner was the right place for accusations. I said, nobody accused anyone. I said I was just being honest about how hard it was to live with someone who refused to lead. Ethan asked what leading meant to me. I said it meant taking charge without me having to ask. Ethan said he did take charge of many things. He said he handled the school forms, the insurance calls, and the groceries often. I told him that was basic. I said even a roommate could do that. Raymond cleared his throat and said he did not like the word roommate. He said marriage was teamwork. I said teamwork only worked when both people were useful. Daphne laughed and said I was just saying what everyone thought. Lydia looked at Daphne with a calm face that did not match her eyes. Lydia asked Daphne to watch her tone. Daphne said she was just trying to help. Mila's chair scraped the floor a little. She asked if we could order dessert first. I knew she was trying to change the mood. I told her yes, we could. Ethan said we should eat dinner first. Mila nodded and went quiet again. Noah asked if Dad was coming home tonight. The question hit the table like a dropped spoon. Ethan asked Noah why he thought Dad would not come home. Noah said Dad slept in the other room, and it felt like a sleepover that never ended. I felt my face heat. I said that was just because Dad liked space sometimes. Ethan said he slept there because we had not been kind to each other lately. Lydia's mouth tightened, but she did not shout. She asked Ethan if he was safe and okay. Ethan said he was okay. He said he was just tired. Janine asked Ethan if he was punishing me with distance. Ethan said he was not punishing anyone. He said he was trying to stay respectful. I almost rolled my eyes. I said he was acting respectful to look innocent. I said he loved being the good guy, while I carried the real work. Grant asked what I meant by real work. I said emotional work. I said I managed the house feelings, and Ethan only managed lists. Ethan said he could manage lists and feelings if we spoke with basic respect. I said respect was earned. Ethan asked if I believed he earned none. I said he earned the basics and wanted applause. Lydia said she would not sit and listen to Ethan be insulted in front of his children. She said it quietly, but it had weight. Daphne said Lydia was being dramatic. Lydia said she was being a grandmother. Janine said Lydia was judging me. Lydia said she was watching what was happening. Ethan stood up then. He told the table he was going to take the kids home. He said it was late, and they needed sleep. He asked me if I was coming. I said I was not leaving in the middle of dinner like a child. He said, okay, and told Mila to get her coat. Mila looked at me, then at him. I said she could go because someone had to be responsible. I said it like it was a gift. Ethan paid his part at the counter without making a speech. Grant walked with him to the door. Lydia hugged the kids again and told them she loved them. Mila nodded, but her eyes looked wet. Noah waved and asked if dessert was cancelled. Lydia told him dessert would happen another day. Ethan carried Noah's backpack like it was normal. When the door closed behind them, the table felt empty and loud at the same time. Daphne said Ethan was doing his silent control thing again. Janine said Ethan was embarrassing me. Raymond said maybe we all needed to calm down. I ate 2 bites and pushed my plate away. I told myself Ethan walked out because he could not face truth. I told myself he wanted to make me look bad. Still, my hands shook a little under the table, and I hated that. I hated any sign that he could affect me. Later, after I got home, I found the house too quiet. The kids were already asleep in their beds. Ethan was not in the living room. I walked into the kitchen and saw a faint toner smell in the air, like someone had used the printer recently. On the dining table, his laptop was closed, but a plain folder sat beside it. The spine faced me. It said, "Bank," in simple black letters. I picked it up and felt how thick it was. I did not open it. I told myself it was probably bills and boring stuff. Still, my stomach tightened. I heard a click from the hallway, like a locked drawer being shut. I turned and saw Ethan at the end of the hall near the guest room. He asked if I had a good time at dinner. I said dinner was fine, and his family loved to judge. He asked if I noticed Mila was upset. I said Mila was sensitive and she got it from him. He said Mila asked him if we were going to break up. I laughed and said kids ask silly things. He said it did not feel silly. He asked if I could stop humiliating him in front of people. I said if he did not want humiliation, he should improve. He looked at me for a moment like he wanted to say more. Then he nodded once, slow, and walked into the guest room without touching me. I stood there holding the bank folder like it was heavier than paper. I set it down and told myself I was still in control. But the quiet in the house did not feel like surrender anymore. It felt like planning. The community hall fundraiser was supposed to be simple. It was for the school, and the flyers said, "Family night" with bright letters and smiling faces. I went because people would be there. I went because I liked being seen as involved. I told myself that made me a good mother, even if my home felt like 2 strangers sharing walls. Ethan came too. He said he would take the kids because it mattered to them. I said he was only doing it so people would clap for him. He asked if I could stop turning everything into a fight. I said he started fights by being sensitive. He went quiet again, and that silence made me itch. At the hall, there were folding chairs, a small stage, and a table of cookies that looked dry. Parents stood in little circles and talked about sports and homework. Cassidy was there with her phone ready, like it was a red carpet. She asked if Ethan was behaving. I said he was being weird and quiet like always. Cassidy said quiet men were hiding something. I laughed and agreed because it felt good to have an ally. Daphne arrived with a bag of donated items and a loud voice. She asked if I had finally trained Ethan yet. I said Ethan was still useless, and I said it with a smile. A few people heard, and I liked that. I liked when my words traveled. It made me feel like I controlled the story before anyone else could tell it. Ethan stood near the kids' craft table. Mila was painting a paper star. Noah kept dropping crayons and saying he needed help. Ethan helped him without complaining. He asked Mila what color she wanted next. She said blue. He found blue and wiped a little paint off her hand with a napkin. It was gentle. I hated how normal it looked. It made my anger feel less like justice and more like a choice. Cassidy pulled me toward the snack table and asked if I had talked to Ethan about the issues. I said I tried, but he acted like a victim. Cassidy said I should tell the full truth in front of people so he could not twist it later. I knew what she meant. She wanted a scene. Part of me wanted it too, because I was tired of Ethan's calm face making me look like the unstable one. When the raffle started, the organizer asked families to come closer. People crowded in. A few phones lifted up. I saw Cassidy's phone pointed at me. Ready. I told myself I had to hold my ground. I told myself if I looked strong, I would be right. Ethan stepped beside me to watch the kids. He asked if we could just be polite for 1 hour. I said he was acting like my boss. He said he was acting like a parent. I said he could not even lead at home, so why did he think he could lead here? He looked at me and asked if this was really the place. I said life did not pause because people were watching. Daphne heard and came over. She asked Ethan if he planned to win anything tonight, or if he would just stand there like a lamp. People around us looked over. Ethan said he was there for the kids. Daphne said that was the excuse men used when they had no other value. I laughed, and the laugh came out sharp. Ethan asked Daphne to stop speaking about him like that. Daphne asked who would stop her. Ethan said nobody had to stop her, but he could ask for respect. Daphne said respect was for men who earned it. I said the same line again, louder, because it felt like power. I said Ethan was useless. I expected Ethan to react. I expected a raised voice or a harsh word. Instead, he looked down at Noah's hand in his own, like he was choosing what mattered. He asked Noah if he wanted to go see the balloons. Noah nodded. Ethan walked away with the kids, like he was stepping out of a storm, not into one. Cassidy whispered that Ethan was doing his silent punishment trick. I said yes, and I told people near me that Ethan always played the victim. I said he tried to make me look cruel when I was just honest. A few parents gave small, awkward smiles. One mom turned away. I pretended not to notice. Later, Cassidy showed me the video she took. My voice sounded louder than I remembered. Ethan's face looked calm, almost blank. Cassidy said the clip was perfect. She said people would finally see I was not the problem. I told her to send it to me first. She asked why. I said I wanted to check how it looked. The truth was, I wanted control. While the kids played a game near the stage, I walked toward the hallway to take a call. Tyler had messaged, asking how my night was. I told him it was annoying, and I was stuck at a school event. He asked if my husband was acting up again. I said yes. Tyler wrote that a real man would not let me feel alone in a crowd. I felt a small spark in my chest. I told myself it was proof. I told myself Ethan failed, and that made my choices reasonable. When I went back to the main room, Ethan was not at my side. He was near the exit, talking quietly to Grant. Grant had shown up late and stood with his arms crossed, watching. Ethan said something low. Grant nodded. I could not hear the words, but I saw their faces. They did not look angry. They looked organized. On the drive home, Ethan kept the radio off. Mila fell asleep with her head tilted against the seatbelt strap. Noah clutched a little prize bag and mumbled. I stared out the window and told myself Ethan was embarrassed, and he would come back softer if I stayed firm. That was always my idea of love. Pressure, tests, control. At the townhouse, Ethan carried Noah inside and set him down gently. He asked Mila if she wanted water. She said yes. He got her water and tucked her in. I stood in the doorway and watched, feeling both annoyed and oddly left out. When the kids were asleep, Ethan went to the dining table. His laptop was open. He did not slam it shut when I walked in. He just looked at the screen and clicked slowly, like he was not afraid of me anymore. I glanced over his shoulder and saw a clean set of folders on the side. They were labeled in simple words. One said household, one said utilities. I also saw 2 folders named Archive A and Archive B. The names looked neat, like someone had thought about them carefully. I asked what he was doing. He said he was organizing. I asked why he suddenly cared. He said he always cared, and he was trying to do things properly. I laughed and asked if he was making a chart about how I was the bad guy. He asked why I needed to mock everything. I said because he took everything too seriously. I walked toward the kitchen to pour water, and I noticed a new key on his keyring sitting near the bowl by the door. It was not the normal house key. It was smaller and darker. I asked what it was for. He said it was for storage. I asked what storage. He said he was putting away personal things. I said he was being dramatic again. He said he was being careful. In the garage, I heard a soft shredder hum. It stopped when I stepped closer. I froze. I told myself it was nothing. People shred junk mail. People shred old bills. Still, my mind raced, and I hated that I could not catch up. I went back inside and found Ethan at the driveway door, putting on his shoes, like he might go out again. I asked if he was going to run away like he did at dinner. He asked why I liked calling it running away. He said he left because the kids did not deserve that. I said the kids were fine, and he was using them to make me look bad. He asked if I heard Mila's voice when she asked about smiles. I said Mila was dramatic like him. He looked at me for a moment and his eyes did not plead. That was new. He asked if I was seeing someone else again. I laughed, too fast, and said he was obsessed. He said he was not obsessed. He was tired of lies. I said he did not have proof of anything. He nodded once, slow, like he agreed with the word proof. I stepped closer and told him he was useless and always would be. I told him he could not protect me, he could not provide, and he could not even keep my respect. I expected him to snap. I wanted him to snap. I wanted a clear villain. Ethan did not move. He did not raise his voice. He looked past me toward the street, where the driveway lights made long shadows. Then he looked back at me and spoke in a flat, calm tone. He said he would not fight like this anymore, and he would handle it properly. I went to work like the driveway fight never happened. I wore my best blazer and told myself Ethan would cool down. I told myself he always came back because he needed me. By noon, my confidence felt thin. When I walked into the office tower lobby, I saw Ethan near the coffee stand. He was not pacing. He was not angry. He stood straight like he belonged there. Grant stood a few steps behind him. Lydia was there too, holding a folder close to her chest like it was just papers for a school trip. My stomach dropped, but I still told myself this was a stunt. A woman in plain clothes stepped toward me. She asked my name. I confirmed it, because I did not want to look scared. She said she had legal documents for me and placed them in my hands. 2 co-workers slowed down to watch. I tried to laugh and said Ethan was being dramatic. Ethan did not answer that. He only said he wanted things handled properly and quietly. I flipped through the first page and saw it was a divorce filing with temporary orders. I saw dates, rules, and a schedule that started today. It said exchanges would be calm and set, and the kids' routine would not change without agreement. It also said Ethan had temporary use of the home, and I had to collect personal items at a set time. My throat went dry. My phone buzzed with bank alerts. It said the joint account had new limits and required 2 approvals. It said a transfer I tried last week was being reviewed. I looked up at Ethan and asked how he did that. He said he used lawful steps and professional advice, and he would not argue in public. Then he added, without emotion, that he was not broke, and he never was. He said he lived simple on purpose to see who respected him without rewards. I reached for my phone to call Tyler, but my screen showed a payment decline. Ethan turned and walked toward the courthouse doors with Grant and Lydia, and I stood in the lobby, holding papers that made my version of the story useless.